Hi everyone, my name is Willow Bourke and I'm a project officer working in the Natural Environment Program for DELWP in Bairnsdale. Today I'm going to be talking about the recovery of the southern brush-tailed rock-wallaby after the 2019-20 bushfires in East Gippsland. Firstly, I'll give a quick introduction to the southern brush-tailed rock-wallaby. This species is a relatively small wallaby weighing 5 to 10 kilograms. It has a long, bushy tail that it uses for balance and granulated footpads that grip onto its rocky habitat. Its grey-brown fur helps it to camouflage to avoid predation, and the species requires complex rock, including cliffs, ledges, caves and crevices to hide amongst. The southern brush-tailed rock-wallaby is critically endangered in Victoria, occurring in only 2 areas in the state: a small introduced population at the Grampians Garryowen National Park of approximately 12 animals, and the only known wild population at Little River Gorge in East Gippsland, which at last count in 2020 contained approximately 52 animals. The main threat to this species is predation from foxes, and more recently the extensive bushfires that occurred in southeastern Australia and impacted sections of habitat in East Gippsland. Little River Gorge, near Wollgoomrang, East Gippsland, is the deepest gorge in Victoria, with stunning rocky cliffs and waterfalls leading into the Snowy River to the east. The upper reaches of Little River Gorge were impacted by the 2019-20 bushfires, as you can see from the photos in the bottom left and right. For context, this is a map of the Little River Gorge area, with Buchan to the south, the Snowy River to the east, and McKillops Road to the north. High-quality aerial photography was captured of the fire footprint, and from this we've carried out fire severity mapping. The general pattern you can see here is the upper reaches on the western side of the gorge were burnt quite severely, indicated by the brown and orange colours. The green indicates low severity fire or unburnt. This burnt western side included some of the southern brush-tailed rock-wallaby feeding grounds and habitat, but is unlikely to have impacted the rock-wallabies directly. The main threat due to the fires is probably increased accessibility to predators from the private land to the west. Since the fires, 7 of the animals that lived in this area have not been seen on cameras. This is assumed to be due to predation, and in a population size of 52, this has a significant impact on species recovery. Fires also impacted this area in 2003, with sections of the gorge being burnt and slowly recovering. Some of the burnt areas from 2020 may become foraging areas in the next year, with vegetation starting to recover with the help of rain. The East Gippsland population has slowly but steadily increased since the late 1990s, when there were less than 10 animals. Camera monitoring occurs annually, with 52 animals detected last year. We are currently waiting on results for this autumn's monitoring. Trapping also occurs every 2 to 3 years, and animals are processed for genetic sampling, health checks and ear tagging. The ear tagging helps us to identify individual animals on the cameras, which is important to be able to gauge the population size. One day we hope to run out of colour combinations for ear tags as the population size increases. The most important active management tool we have is predator control, which we've been doing since the late 1990s. Ongoing predator control via landscape scale fox baiting is carried out by Parks Victoria and DELWP through the SSoNR program. Bushfire biodiversity response and recovery funding was allocated immediately post-fires to boost predator control. The map here shows the upper Snowy River area, with Buchan to the south. The red triangles indicate the network of bait stations to target foxes. We continue to see steady low levels of bait take. Cameras in the gorge show foxes and cats are prevalent and may live within the gorge, which poses a particular threat to pouch young and young at foot, which are an ideal size for feral cats and foxes. In addition to baiting, in 2020, DELWP trialled ground shooting around the Little River Gorge area, targeting predominantly foxes due to funding from bushfire recovery. It's clear from the cameras that foxes and cats are common within the rock-wallaby colony. However, accessing the area still remains a challenge. Ground shooting will continue in 2021, and the program will also target deer and pigs, which are having an increasing impact. Due to the small population size, the genetic variability of the southern brush-tailed rock-wallaby is very limited. Captive breeding programs have been established at Tidbinbilla Nature Reserve in the ACT and Mount Rothwell Conservation Research Reserve near Geelong. Animals with a mixture of southern and central brush-tailed rock-wallaby genes are breeding to produce animals with increased genetic variability for reintroduction into wild colonies. These sites have predator-proof fences, shown here in the photo, and are an extremely important part of this species recovery. In September 2020, we released 4 captive bred southern brush-tailed rock-wallabies into Little River Gorge. 3 of the 4 animals were seen on camera in November 2020 after their release in September. Recent photos of the released female, shown here on the left, show that the pinky joey in her pouch in September is now a fully fed pouch young. In addition, one of the 2 captive bred males introduced in 2019 appears to have potential to become one of the dominant males and have the opportunity to spread novel genetics in the population. Releasing southern brush-tailed rock-wallabies into the gorge is not an easy task. Months of planning went into site selection, considering suitable habitat, food, water, caves and rock, predators, and competition from other southern brush-tailed rock-wallabies. This photo is taken from the lookout, and you can just see the 4 of us carrying the precious cargo. Over a year on from the bushfires, there have been promising signs of recovery. However, there are still some very real pressures existing in this critical population, with 7 animals disappearing in 2020. The 2021 autumn monitoring photos have been collected and will be analysed over the coming weeks. A sneak peek shows that both adult and young at foot wallabies continue to disappear from the gorge, which is affecting the ability of the colony to expand. It is clear that introduced predators are using the same habitat as the wallabies and are likely to be predating upon emerging pouch young, potentially as a learnt behaviour. Therefore, we will be continuing fox control through baiting and ground shooting and looking at ways to explore feral cat control. We will also be carrying out cage trapping in May, where we take genetic samples and allocate ear tags to assist with identification on the cameras. We'll keep looking for opportunities for future releases of captive bred animals at potential sites within Little River Gorge and other past known sites in the Upper Snowy area. And lastly, we will keep working with our incredibly dedicated partners to do everything we can to continue the recovery journey of this species in Gippsland. Thanks go to Parks Victoria, Southern Arc, Zoos Victoria, Mount Rothwell, Tidbinbilla Nature Reserve and CSER at Melbourne Uni, Federation Uni, University of Adelaide for all their assistance in delivering this program. Thank you.